The next supplementary question comes from the Honorable M.G.E. Hendricks.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to know if the President knows that my constituency in the Cape Flats in Cape Town, in spite of being the most discriminated community in South Africa, have no quarrel with Africans from the diaspora trading in the informal sector where most of them operate. There is no xenophobia in the colored community, and I hope the President tells us he knows this. We hope the President deals with the discrimination against my constituency, as there is an African preference policy with regard to medical care, to jobs, housing, basic service, COVID relief and economic activities. Although coloured youth are demographically strong in the Western Cape, they have been overlooked in the appointment of members of the National Youth Development Agency, and I'll mark a complaint to you, Honourable Speaker, about this marginalisation. When I get an opportunity to ask you an oral question, Honourable President, it will be to ask you to consider to appoint a committee of inquiry into discrimination against the coloured community, which is also black. Does the President agree that we must not estrange fellow Africans from all over the continent by barring them from jobs and trading opportunities in our economy, including the informal sector? We will not follow the example of Botswana and Ghana. Their leaders will disappoint the founding fathers of the new Africa of the 1960s. As it is Women's Month, will the President consider a visa-free entry for African women into South Africa and access for them for a livelihood in the informal sector? Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Hendricks. You've quite loaded it. The Honourable, the President.
I did not perceive a question. It was more commentary, which I would say one, yes, welcomes, because it is, those are issues that we need to deal with. And I will join Honourable Hendricks and say yes, we have not perceived any form of xenophobia in the Western Cape, in the coloured community. That is so, and we hope that that holds, that in the end, even here in the Western Cape, all our people are treated equally with the dignity that all of them should enjoy. You also referred to the NYDA issue, which I'm told has been referred back and is being dealt with. And as regards, which I already spoke about, what is happening in Botswana, in Ghana, in Nigeria, those are areas that we are watching, and precedents and examples that we are watching closely. And when this committee does its work as led by the two ministers, we will be able to find solutions. And these will be South African tailored solutions. There will be solutions that are born out of the conditions that exist in our country, the circumstances that we live under. So I think when we do come up with solutions, there will be very South African unique solutions. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. President. The third supplementary goes to the Honourable Mautwe. Mautwe?
Yes, thank you very much, Speaker. President, we think it is proper that as the President of the Republic, you adopt a firm stand on this issue. Not this IMC that you want to establish, which will not assist in any way, like all other commissions that were established in the past. The historical evolution of the South African economy was always dependent on the exploitation of black people labor from the rest of the Southern African region. People from Malawi, Mozambique, Angola, Zambia, and Zimbabwe toiled, and some perished in the mines of this country, building wealth for white people. Our schools and universities have benefited from the skills brought in by our fellow Africans too. I don't want to remind you, President, how sentiments of anti-Africanism like this can easily cause xenophobic attacks on our fellow Africans. And in fact, a lot of African brothers and sisters paid dearly with their lives due to this. Now, President, you are the chairperson of African Union, which is supposed to champion and advance the cause of unity amongst us as Africans. What are you doing to prevent this toxic sentiment of hatred amongst Africans? And what steps are you taking to forge unity amongst Africans? Are you not of the view that the emerging anti-African sentiment in this country is as a result of your failure to grow the economy. I'm sure you'll agree, President, that United Africa, which will lead to the attainment of one Africa, one currency, one economy, and one president, is the only solution that will bring about the end to fighting our fellow Africans over the so-called jobs here in South Africa. I thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, ma'am. Just on time. The Honorable, the President.
Okay, Honorable Speaker, I was just reeling from this barrage of political speak of one Africa, one president, and all that, which I'm still dizzy on. Because one of the things that we've always promoted as a country is to have a very Africa-centric and focused approach to the development of our continent. And our policies have sought to advance the interests of Africans. And that is why we are not shy and afraid to call ourselves Pan-African in our approach. And if in terms of many things that we seek to do, we always say that Africa must solve its own problems, African problems for African solutions. And in this regard as well, and that is why this need for this committee, because what the honourable member is saying is diametrically opposed to what the previous honourable member said, because you've got divergent views. Other views are just South Africa focused, that we must just look at ourselves, and in a way it tends to also forget that we exist within our continent, the African continent. And that needs to be born out of our own history, out of our own positioning as a country, and also needs to take into account, yes, the contribution that has been made by many Africans to get us to where we are. And in balancing that, we've also got to balance the needs of our own people. And that is why I said we must take into account the frustrations of our own people with regard to the migration that they see coming in, and this notion that they have that they are being pushed out of jobs. So we need to balance that. We often try to do things in a very balanced manner, and in doing so, in setting up this committee, we are going to come up with what I believe is going to be a very balanced position, and position us well within our own country in relation to our own people, but also position us well in relation to the continent as a whole. South Africa must continue giving leadership, continue being the reservoir of what is best for the African continent. And in doing so, there are certain things and principles that we need to embrace, adhere to, and advance, and be able also to show good examples in some of the things that we do. So, Honourable Speaker, I've heard what the honourable members are saying, and I remain convinced that it was correct to set up this interministerial committee to deal precisely with the divergence of views that I have had this afternoon. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.